What's up YouTube, the Bike Father here. Today we're going to be doing a test ride and review of the 2022 Harley Davidson Fat Bob. I absolutely love the sound. To be honest, this is one thing which really attracts me to the Harley bikes, it's the sound. Right, so just before we start, I want to say a huge thank you to the guys from Harley Davidson in Uppingham for giving me this bike for a couple of hours to play, so obviously I can create this review for you guys. If this is your first time on this channel, please hit that like button and subscribe to support my channel, especially if you're interested in these sort of stuff like motorbikes, Harleys, Kawasaki. So yeah, now just to give you a bit of background information, I normally ride a Kawasaki Z900. I previously test rode, recently actually, a Sportster S, a Street Bob, a Sport Glide, so this would be my fourth Harley, so I'm kind of on a roll. So yeah, I'm saying this because I might be using those as a reference to compare it with this bike, okay? Now, typical Harley, obviously this bike weighs around 300 kilograms. The tank itself, I think it's a fairly small tank, it's 13 liters, and this is the Milwaukee 8 engine 114, which I think it has about 1868 cc and that produces about 92 or 93 horsepower. Right, so let's talk about a couple of things. So we'll sort of cover the overall styling of this bike. We'll go to the comfort, engine and everything else. So when it comes to styling, the Fat Bob obviously has definitely taken a different approach, probably a more modern approach, in a very similar way to the Sportster S, with this sort of rectangular headlight compared to the round one, which is more classic. Now some people hate it, some people like it. I think it looks really cool, and I'm sure there are other people who really disliked it when the Fat Bob first came out with this new design, but they kind of grown into it and now they've changed their minds. So, but I think it looks really cool. It has a very sort of mean and aggressive look, so yeah, definitely thumbs up for that. I'm not sure, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, do you like the way the Fat Bob looks? Let me know in the comment section below. Talking about styling, this bike, it's pretty much stock. The only two things which they are sort of custom are the Vance and High pipes, which were put as an upgrade on this demo bike, and also a tail tidy. That's it. And I must say, I'm a really big fan of these pipes. They sound really nice, like even especially when you accelerate really hard, or when you stopped accelerating and you sort of have that engine braking. It sounds absolutely amazing. I'm not sure whether you guys will going to be able to hear exactly how it sounds. I know the sound through videos doesn't really do it justice, you know, in person it's completely different, but yeah, it has a really nice, like, deep sort of tune to it. You know that you're riding a Harley. When it comes to comfort, I really like this bike. Now this bike is part of the Softail family, so obviously you have some suspension at the back, which is sort of like hidden. It has adjustable suspension as well, so that's a plus as well. I sort of left it the way it is, but I think it's quite comfortable as it was set. Now I did not feel the same when I test rode the Sportster S. The Sportster S, from a comfort point of view, was absolutely horrible, and that's for two reasons. Number one, the seat was sort of like flat with the Sportster S, so whenever you were going faster, whenever you would have to accelerate, I would really have to use both my hands, you know, whilst with this one, with the Fat Bob, because you have that curved seat, it really provides good back support, so you kind of like push yourself against the back seat. So yeah, it feels really good. Plus that back support makes it a bit more comfortable in general for longer journeys. So yeah, I absolutely love the seat. I know there are some other custom seats which are probably even better, but this one surprisingly feels quite good, because I know in general, I don't think I've ever seen like a motorbike company whose stock seat was good, but this one feels really nice. I mean, with my Z900, I definitely had to take that seat to like an upholstery to obviously add more foam and gel to make it more comfortable, but yeah, this one feels really nice. Now, talking about comfort, the other thing I like about this bike is the fact that it has forward foot controls. I just feel better. Now I think, if I remember correctly, the Sportster S had forward foot controls, but I didn't feel as comfortable with that, probably because of the seat. Anyway, the Street Bob that I test rode not long ago had mid controls, and I don't know, I guess it depends what people prefer. Some people say that they are more in control with mid controls. I test riding the Sport Glide, which has forward foot controls, and then Street Bob, which has mids, and now this one, the Fat Bob, which has forward foot controls. Yeah, I definitely like this better. Now I'm 175 centimeters, so I guess I'm probably like average, not too short, not too tall, but yeah, for me forwards definitely suit me better. The lean angle on this is, I think, just a little bit over 30, 31 or 32. It's a little bit higher than the Sport Glide. I think Sport Glide was 28. So yeah, if you're coming from a sports bike and you're looking for a bike that you kind of want to lean in corners, this is definitely the bike for you. Now the bike feels fairly nimble when you ride it, right? Going through the bends and all that, you know, it wants to be leaned, let's put it this way. It feels good. The only times when I personally feel, and perhaps I'm just not used to it, the only times when I feel it feels a little bit awkward are in like roundabouts, so basically low speed sort of maneuvers, because this one comes with a much bigger tire in front, so obviously a fat tire, so I feel that the tire itself sort of like pulls me back up, or when I lean it needs a little bit more of a push, but that's only at lower speeds, because when you're going through twisties and that sort of stuff, it feels very good. It feels very good. It's not as nimble as my Z900, of course, and also not as nimble as the Sport Glide. The Sport Glide felt really good, like really good, despite the fact that obviously it's a Harley, it has like 300 plus kilograms. It felt very easy to maneuver, you know, same as this, but it's just like, you know, that one was a little bit easier, let's put it this way. I really love the sound of this bike. Like, it sounds absolutely amazing. I know people buy Harleys for their sound. This is definitely something which attracted me to Harleys. Right, so as I was saying earlier, this has a 1868 cc, probably the biggest engine I ever rode so far. And power wise, obviously you can't really compare this to a super sports. I mean, my bike is 900 and it has 120 horsepower, and I think the street triple, for example, is 700 and it also has 120 horsepower. But obviously those bikes are much lighter. This is a heavy bike, so this one produces 92 horsepower, but to be honest, it's more than you need. It's not like, I mean, yes, you can take this bike to the track, but on roads you don't need more than that, honestly. You know, it has a really good smooth acceleration. It doesn't feel jerky or anything, especially at the lower speeds. It feels good. You have plenty of power in the lower revs. So this one has the 114 engine, which is slightly bigger than the Sport Glide, for example, which has the 107 engine. And I think the Street Bob used to have the 107, but that was recently upgraded to 114. So I really like the Sport Glide, so I'm kind of hoping in the future they will upgrade the engine on that as well. Yeah, comfort wise, this feels really good. It feels almost as good as the Sport Glide. I think obviously both have forward foot controls. However, I think with the Sport Glide, your back, it's a little bit more straight, so you're sort of leaning a little bit more backwards, but just by a tiny bit. So this is a more aggressive bike, but to be honest, it feels good, right? I've been riding this for a couple of hours, and I could feel like I can ride it the whole day with no problems at all. You can see here the bar is graded, so you can also twist the bar as well to adjust it however you want, whether you want this to be slightly higher or lower. So yeah, that's that. Right, so let's talk about a couple of negatives. What is it that I don't like about this bike? So first things first, looking at the mirrors, I don't think they're positioned as well as some of the other bikes. I'm probably half of the mirrors are, I can see my shoulders. So yeah, that's not that great. It's okay, obviously it could have been better. Obviously there are plenty of aftermarket options mirror that you can choose from, and I'm sure that there are some where the visibility is better. The second thing is this one actually comes with a chopped fender, and in fact when I took it the first time I took it from the dealer, I could already see on the back fender, I could already see some splatters of like mud and stuff like that. So yeah, that's that. The other thing, what else? Oh, the most obvious for me, the biggest negative, but it's not necessarily, when you think about negatives, there are two types of negatives. Something that, hey, you know it's there and you can't change it, and the other thing is like, it's sort of like you were expecting something else. So with this one, it's the tank. Obviously you can't really change it. It's a small tank. I think it's 13.2 liters. My Kawasaki 17, the Sport Glide or the Lowrider S, for example, those are almost 19 liters, so that's quite a massive difference, you know. So yeah, I mean, obviously the Sport Glide is sort of like a two-in-one bike, more catered to do a little bit of touring, longer distances as well. Not that you can't do it, this one you can, it's just that you'll have to stop more often. So yeah, I really wish, you know, especially, I mean, the name itself, you know, the Fat Bob, it feels like a muscly bike, you know. It feels like a big bike. It has a fat tire, you know, it has like a big sort of profile, a mean aggressive bike. I just wish the tank would have been bigger as well. That's all. Sound wise, sounds really good. I think this is probably the 10th time I'm mentioning this. Obviously with the Vance and Hines pipes, the Sport Glide and all the other bikes I test rode, they had the stock exhaust, and whilst it was good, right, obviously you can't compare it with this. So it has a really nice rumble, like a deep sort of roar, you know. It sounds really good, sounds really good. Right, so the other sort of negative, but it's not really a negative for me, but it might be for some people. I have mentioned earlier the blinkers. Obviously you have left on the left, right on the right. So I get why. Obviously if you are, you know, some people prefer to, because your right hand obviously you're using to accelerate, sometimes you might not be in the right position to be able to reach the right blinker, especially if you want to turn right or if you want to overtake or something. Whilst with the left one doesn't do anything, so you can easily change. But for me it's quite fine. Even whilst I'm accelerating, I can easily press the left blinker, so that's not really a problem. So I guess obviously if you have smaller hands, maybe that will be sort of an issue, but yeah, it's okay, you know. And still I'm not sure yet, you know. I always like new things. I like trying new things, so far I don't mind them. They're good, you know. Yeah, with the blinkers, again, typical for Harleys, they are self-canceling indicators, so you don't have to worry, unless you're going obviously on a straight road. But even on a straight road, I think they do cancel after a couple of seconds. Handlebars, I mean, I know one of the main issues with Harleys are the vibrating handlebars, and obviously they do vibrate when you're stationary, but once you pick up some speed, they're fine. However, test riding a couple of Harleys recently, I did notice that out of all of them, I think the Street Bob, the handlebars, were vibrating the most. The next step down is probably this one, and then the ones with least vibration, I think, were the Sport Glide. But again, I don't mind it. With the Sport Glide and this one, the Fat Bob, I think once you reach a certain speed, you don't even feel it anymore, and it's not as annoying. However, with the Street Bob, even whilst I was riding, I could sort of feel my hands being like tingling, you know, for from the vibration. So I don't know, different types of bars. Obviously with the Street Bob, you have those sort of like mini, or how they called, mini apes or whatever they're called. So yeah, but with this one feels good, and I sort of like when you're stationary, you feel the bike, you know, like one of those old trucks. And that's sort of how Harley feels, you know, when you're starting the engine, like the whole bike shakes. I like that feeling. So yeah, I don't mind that. So once again, it might be a negative for some people. For me, it's completely fine. Yeah, I was saying earlier that in roundabouts and, you know, lower speeds, it feels a little bit weird to lean it. I think I don't feel that anymore. I think now that I got used to it, I rode it for a few hours, I think it feels normal, to be honest. So it's definitely something you get used to it. And yeah, because of the lean angle being slightly bigger than the other Harleys, I think those who are sort of coming from sports bike, like myself, obviously I'm riding a Kawasaki Z900, so yeah, this would be a really good first Harley sort of bike. Alright, so let's put some petrol. And the other thing I actually like with this one, compared to the Sport Glide, for example, the Sport Glide had a lot of chrome, while this very similar to the Street Bob is more blacked out. So yeah, I prefer this style. I don't have time to shine that chrome. But this looks really nice, HD. Higher. Number 2, please. Look at this bad boy. It sort of reminds me of the bike that the guy from Walking Dead was riding. Yeah, I definitely like the styling, you know. Clunk. Clunk. I won't even mention that. I know some people joke about it, but yeah, that's how Harley sounds when you put it in a first gear. Yeah, this bike feels absolutely amazing. I love it. So would I buy this bike? Definitely, if I could afford it. However, with that being said, this would be a perfect replacement for my Kawasaki Z900. You know, it's a sort of similar style, as in, you know, it's sort of like a city bike, weekend sort of journeys. However, if you're looking to have a slightly longer trip, the Z900 is definitely not comfortable. It's not made for that, for touring. And it's probably the same with this. I mean, yes, I could probably easily ride it for a couple of hours, maybe the whole day. However, for longer trips, I would definitely prefer the Sport Glide more. And overall, I do like the whole package of what the Sport Glide is offering. So yeah, for me, that's the bike which really sort of stole my heart. The Sport Glide. It comes with cruise control. So surprise wise, they're both very similar, right? The difference between this and the Sport Glide is the fact that this one has the 114 engine, whilst the other one has the 107 engine. Although I am hoping they might upgrade it next year or so. That one has the cruise control, this one doesn't. That one has a 19-liter tank, this one only a 13-liter tank. That one also has the side bags, the side panniers, you know, which you can easily detach. This one obviously doesn't. So if you are to go somewhere for longer trips, you know, you will need to think about like where you're gonna store your stuff, you know, whether a backpack it's enough or you need a little bit more than that. So yeah, to me it just feels like the Sport Glide just offers like a better overall package. Now style wise, honestly, I'm in between. I sort of like the classic look of the Sport Glide. The fact that you can obviously take out the fairing if you want to, and also and I also like this one. I don't know, it's different, let's put it this way. It has this, similar to my Z900, it has a sort of mean, aggressive look. So yeah, style wise, looks wise, I'm very undecided. But as a better value package, I would probably go with that one. But hey, people like different things, so you know, would I recommend this bike? Definitely. It's very comfortable. I think the only other one in this sort of softail category that I'm yet to test ride is the Lowrider S. But the Lowrider S doesn't come with forward foot controls, and I think at this stage, after testing some with mids, some with forwards, I think I definitely prefer forwards. Now yes, you can obviously have like a conversion. So with this one you can do mids. With Lowrider S or the Street Bob, you can convert them to forwards. But yeah, I don't know. If it comes already with forwards, it's sort of like an added bonus, you know. I don't have to change anything, so I'm gonna enjoy the bike straight away. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and do like and subscribe, because that will really help out my channel. So yeah, take care guys, ride safe, and I'll see you in the next video.